Hey, we're live on Facebook. I've got Sarah with me as well. So as the normal happens, you may be watching this afterwards, other than on Facebook. Make sure you put any comments below, any questions as we go through. And if you're on live right now, put in some comments, send us some loving, and we will be delighted with you. So for now, let's hop in. We have something very exciting. So I've been talking about the 6 core pillars of profitable marketing. And one of those is something I'm going to share with you later today. However, I'm going to share something with you that we have used in a couple of different areas. And it's been so impactful and a really great visual way to use to show you how to use the second of the core pillars, which we'll talk to you in the end. So just brought Sarah along because she's going to join me in explaining this. And we're going to share the screen with you so we can show you some stuff. And if you have any questions, as I say, as we're going, let us know. Let us know what emotion comes up for you as we go through this process. So let me share my screen. She says, hopefully, to get the right screen, that would be a good idea. Let me share my screen, which is the absolute wrong one. Da, 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 da. So this screen is your life. You've heard of the program called This Is Your Life? Well, this is your life in numbers. I'm going to explain to you why, so bear with me. So pretend that this is 100 years, so 100 years of life. You're going to live to 100, Sarah?
I hope so. Maybe longer. Who knows with technology?
So when we were born, you know, let's say the first 5 years of your life, 4 to 5 years. Actually, let's go 4 because we have kindy and we have all sorts of everything. So the first 4 years of your life, what are you doing? Having the
playing. Freedom, independence.
Yeah, okay.
Having a ball.
You're falling down a few times and getting back up. You know, you're learning how to walk. You're doing stuff like that. But, you know, life is good. You're born to have fun. You're born to be free. Your parents are encouraging you all the time. So it's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Then we go, let's go from about 5 to 10. So suddenly
we go to school.
Yes.
Start school, start making friends, start learning the rules.
Who tells you what's good, bad, right and wrong? You can't do that. You can't sit there. You can't look at that one in that way. And if you're in the school ground, you're not allowed to look at that boy. You're not allowed to look at that girl. You can't say that they're big, small, fat, thin, different color. They sound weird, anything. There's all these rules that you suddenly have to get used to. But somehow we do. We conform to these rules, these amazing rules that apparently are supposed to keep us safe for the rest of our lives. But that's okay, we do it. I don't know about you, but for me, my experience at that age was I was called secondhand Rose a lot.
What's a secondhand rose?
Secondhand Rose is somebody who wears all secondhand clothes.
Oh.
And I was the youngest of 5 girls. So guess what? I got all the secondhand.
I guess I got all the hand-me-downs too from my older sister.
But I didn't think there was anything wrong with it till people started to tease me in this part of my life.
Yeah. So a lot of things can happen during these formation years that can sort of impact us quite strongly as we age.
What do we say? Kids are cruel. They are, because they're quite honest. They've come out of this little small, you know, 0 to 4, where they can say anything, and mom and dad think it's cute. It's all right. It's just Mary being funny. And you come in here and they say, no. So then we come along and we go, we're going to take a biggish jump from 11 to about 16. So then we start changing. Our body starts changing. Especially if you're a woman, you know what I mean. But our body starts changing and we start having to socialize in different ways. You know, maybe it's a man or a woman, a boy or a girl that starts finding you attractive, perhaps, and you have your first kiss, or in my case, you start smoking, or, you know.
We start trying new things. I think there's a bit of a push to become a little bit independent from your parents.
A bit rebellious.
I think you're really subjected to some of those peer pressures, social expectations of what a teenager should be and should look like and should talk like, and I know what you wear, what you drive, what
makeup, you know. Do you remember wearing the weird makeup or the weird bell bottoms and things like that? But things that were fashionable, and oh my God, your parents, the ones that you really, really loved and would do anything for those first few years, they're wrong. Because you want to do something different. It doesn't mean they were really wrong, but in that time, you know, the formative years.
You thought you knew best.
Yes, let's put it like that. And then we're going to jump kind of from the 17 to 20. So now we're kind of mostly finishing school or going to uni, or, you know,
life's sort of getting a little bit more serious.
We're adulting.
We're being asked to make decisions for our future.
We can vote, and you have to know what you want to do when you leave school. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And
there's
you know,
pressure, expectations.
You go into the wrong
shoulders.
course of study or something, or you know, so there's a lot of pressure being put on you then. So then we come out, we're going to take a big jump this time. And this is what society expects. There's exceptions to the rules, so I'm just throwing it out there. But predominantly for about the next 15 years, up to about age 35, that's kind of the age the expectation is that you're going to have kids, you're going to get married, you're going to settle down.
Yeah, you would be advancing in your career.
Yes, you're going to be, you know, doing all that things, you know, getting together, starting to buy a house.
Buying a house,
because that's what we're told we should do, right? So that kind of takes you up to there. So then we go from there where you start to kind of hate your job.
Start to question some of these decisions you made when you were younger and maybe didn't know as much, wasn't quite self-aware as you are in your mid-30s, I would say. Yeah.
Now we know we're jumping ahead of some of you, and we're going to be doing it based on my life, as in my age. So these are the ages we are. Sarah's not up to this age yet, but she's kind of in the middle.
I'm about here, I'm mid-30s.
Yeah, she understands some of it and can see the road ahead of her should she choose to stay on that road. Because if you look at people that are a bit like you in your society, so maybe older siblings, maybe your parents, kind of that's where you're going unless something changes, basically. So up to about here, you're starting to get a little bit, you know, the kids are a little bit less dependent on you. You're starting to get a little bit of freedom back, but you wonder what the hell you're doing working 40, 50 or 60 hours in your bloody job.
I think often here, some women often sort of think, well, is this all there is? Who am I beyond being a mum? Like those intensive years of child rearing are starting to ease, and kids are going off to school themselves or high school. And it's a bit like, I think in this zone, people start to think, I'm going to do my own business.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something for me. I want to reconnect with my passions. I want to find that purpose that's going to, you know, light me up from the inside. And maybe my job isn't that.
Yeah. Or sometimes they get to this stage and they think that going higher in the job is what they want to do. And they quite often strive for that. I know I did, but it still wasn't the answer because there was always something else. So we kind of jumped a little bit. So we thought that kind of goes on for about, you know, 10 years really. Because from this 45 to about the 55 age group is where the kids are even less independent, less dependent. And the kids are maybe leaving home, and you're going, okay, I'm left sometimes with this one person, or a relationship has broken down already. And you go, well, what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life?
What's next for me? Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, again, I'm basing this on my age group. If you're anything like me, I'm not ready to lie down and die just yet. I've still got a lot of life left in me, but I don't want to work 60, 70 hours for somebody else anymore. So it's like, well, what can I do? And you start questioning, well, what skills have I built up in all this bloody time that I've been here? And you start looking at it. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. This is up to my age, just for now. But I don't want, age is just a number. So we get to a certain age and we are still left a bit questioning, or maybe it started something or tried to something. Now, we're going to go a little bit in reverse right now. I want you to take a moment and look at your parents or grandparents, and kind of an average age of what they would be, you know, when they've passed away or the age they are now. Now, in my case, there's kind of around, my parents were, my mom was actually 90 and my dad was 89 when they passed. So not doing too bad in the scheme of things, yeah. However, with my grandparents were more around the 70s, one was 90. So I'm going to kind of just allow about that. Average age is more like around 82, 83. So I'm being very generous here. Now, we've got to take into consideration that although I'm going by the age, but if this was a 100-year grid, which it is, we also sleep a lot. So
I think a lot, definitely.
We have to take into account the years that we sleep. So these are these are the years. Well, it's usually about a quarter. It should be a quarter. So quarter of 57, let me see, divided by 4, that's another 14 years of sleeping. So there we go. There's 10 of them gone. There's another 3. And there's another 1. Now, as I said, I'm being quite generous here. So can you see how we only have about 14 or 15 years left in our life to do something?
How does that make you feel, Cole?
Pretty shit, actually. I mean,
oh man, there's like more urgency to what we're doing right now.
This is the thing, that this was one of the things that really hit me, and I know it has hit a lot of our clients, and we actually haven't shared this with our members yet. I make sure that we do. But when you start looking at it like that and you go, oh my Jesus Christ, I'm running out of time. And that's what happens when you get to that kind of higher end of the age. You start thinking, hang on, what have I done with all this other time when I was getting stressed about learning these rules, learning this, that, and the other? Okay, I've been there, done that. But most important, and what I want you to focus on, is what are you going to do with the years you have left? Because we can't change the years we've already done. And look, I know people might say, I don't sleep that much. You need to sleep. So it might vary.
Not sleeping is not the answer to this.
Yeah, you can't stay awake for 24 hours for the next 14 years. The point is that when we look at this and we kind of bring up a bit of an emotion around it, and that's what it always has done in previous times, what are you going to do with the rest of that? How are you going to try and make more bang for your buck, if you like? And what was the other thing I was trying to say? It literally has gone out of my head.
It's sort of like we've got 14 years for you now to be able to generate an income that can fund the lifestyle to make these 14 years the best they can be, right? So I mean, the old way of doing it was, you worked hard, you got your super Ann and the pension and sacrificed everything, and then. And I don't know about you, but I've watched my grandparents go through that. Watching my parents go through that at the moment. There's not as much freedom at the other end as kind of has been promised.
Well, there was a survey done of over 80-year-olds and deathbeds. I know it sounds a bit morbid. And they were asked a few questions. And one of them was, are you as financially free now as you thought you were going to be? And the answer was no. Are you as healthy this end as you thought you were going to be, so you could do everything you wanted to do? And the answer there was also no. Are you as happy as you thought you were going to be? You're feeling happy, no regrets, all of that sort of thing. And the answer was no. And there was a fourth question that has eluded me now for just
I think those ones are powerful.
Yeah. But the point is that what are you going to regret at that end? If you don't take control of what you're doing right now.
It's getting it in perspective too, isn't it? I think time is a funny thing. We tend to think we have more of it, but then we also say that we feel like we don't have enough. So we get caught in this relationship with time, which has positives and negatives. But when you look at it on a grid like this, you just can't argue with it. We've got a certain amount of time left. No matter how old you are, you've got a certain amount of time. What are you going to do in that to ensure that your happiness and you get some independence and freedom, if that's something that's going to drive you? And what are we going to do in that time?
And look, I know this is a little bit dark. It's not meant to be like that. Well, a little bit. But let's be honest, there's nobody getting out of this alive. That's the truth of it. No matter how much we want to push time and think, oh, yeah, the time, whenever we've lots of time to do. Well, it's not the time you have, it's the value of the time you use. Let me stop sharing it for just a moment. I hope that you guys are going really well. We're not able to see the live comments just now because there's a bit of a delay. And if you're watching the replay, but what I want you to consider, and getting back to those 6 core elements of profitable marketing, what emotion did that bring up for you? What kind of emotional story? And I know we don't always do it exactly like this, but I really wanted to show you how bringing emotion and tapping into emotion on a marketing perspective can be the difference that makes the difference in your business. Because if I'm not talking to your emotions, then you're not really going to buy from me, because I'm just another pleb in a big plethora of plebs that are going, buy me, buy me, buy me. It's more about touching in on an emotional level with your ideal client in a way that they can see you are the solution that they need. Have you anything to add
Yeah,
to
no,
that?
and I think it's the stories. I mean, as we went through that grid, there's stories for each section of someone's life. And knowing those stories, knowing the emotions people feel in them, what's going on for them, that's a key component of copywriting. It's a key component of marketing.
Yeah.
It's part of doing your target market research, is knowing, well, where are they in their life, and what have they got to look forward to? What is that motivation towards?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got 14 years left to get busy, I mean, how do you want your business to look in that 14
We're in a
years?
hurry. Can we finish this now?
Yeah,
Only a few
we might cut that down, say we've got 4 years. But, you know, or like someone like myself in my mid-30s, I can see the map. I can see where I'm headed. I can see where I've been, and I can see how much time is left. There's stories in that. There's emotions in that. We're human beings. We're driven by these things. We're driven by emotions. And you might have heard it said before, we purchase and make our buying decisions based on emotions first, and then the rational justification comes in. So at any point within your marketing, what emotional stories could you tell? What examples, like this grid that we just ran through, it's a way of expressing stories and emotions without just saying, oh, time's running out, you know, sense of urgency. This is just a little example of how we've been playing with these ideas of like, how can we get our message touching the people who it needs to touch at the right time? So, I mean, you've got a great core message. What is it?
Right message to the right person at the right time. and you know what, like, showing something like that is one thing. And I learned a good few years ago, and this is why I work with the likes of the amazing Sarah, and I also work with Mentor. Why? Because I have limited time, so I need to speed up what I can do and how I can do it. So I'm used to be the non-techie person, but she's helped a lot with that. And it used to be that I got stuck on some of this bloody techie stuff that, you know, once somebody showed me how to do it, it was fixed like that.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. And when I look back on it now, I'm going, oh my God, how many hours did I spend? Like when I first started editing videos, crying over a computer for 13 hours just to do one bloody video. What the hell? But that's what we do, because we didn't learn it. We were sticking to the rules that people told us. We were working hard, not realizing the skills we built then could possibly be transferred until somebody from outside looked in and said, hey, you can do that and that. There's like, what? And speed up that process. So it's really important for you to find an environment for whatever it is you want to do, whether you're in business or something else, that's fine. But find an environment that helps you grow and supports you in where you need to be supported. That's what we do in our membership, for example, which is on tomorrow night, actually. We help, we've become kind of the how-to girls in a lot of ways. So you come in there once a week and you ask a question about anything to do with marketing, and the how-to of the business of marketing. You just ask the question, we will give you the answers. We will find the answers. And at times, again, techie person, we can actually share screens and jump on and fix that one little techie stuff that's been holding you back for friggin' ages. So if you can find an environment like that, and if our environment suits you, come on in with us. Let us know. We'll put the link in the bottom, that you come in there every week and you ask any question you want and it gets answered. So you're not flailing around and wasting more of those bloody years. Anything else, Sarah, before we finish up?
Look, I think that this has been a great exercise, I think.
It's kind of reminded me.
Yeah. But I think what you said is true. Like when you've got, you know, do that exercise, you probably did it as we went along with you, Carmel. What are you going to do in that time? And do you want some helping hands to get you checking off your to-do list faster, hitting those goals in your business faster? It doesn't take much to find a good group of people who can actually help you advance quicker. And that's what we offer in the membership. There's no lock-in, there's no anything like that. We're simply here saying, look, we know we've only got a certain amount of time left and we're working together. We love collaborating. I work with you closely. We work with our members closely. Whatever you're stuck on this week that's holding you back, jump on, ask the questions. We'll get you the answers. We won't just tell you how to do it. We'll show you how to do it. We went live the other week one of our members, we got in the back end of her website. We were fixing some of her opt-in things. We were getting PDFs up, stuff like that. So if you're stuck, come join us.
Come join us. If you're not, good on you.
Yeah,
You're
good on
doing
you.
great. Okay, guys. So for now, it's bye from us. And make sure you put the comments down below and let us know so we can help you even more.